Hi, Sharla.
Hi, Jenna. How are you?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here with you talking about our upcoming training, Divine Feminine and Psychology, Healing Relational Trauma. And I'm going to start us off with just talking about what relational trauma is, because that may not be a
Hmm.
clear term, but I see it all the time in my practice. And that has been part of my healing path is healing relational trauma, which shows up, I think, in so many ways. I'll try to make it brief but comprehensive that we are traumatized in relationship when there's been a number of things happen, maybe abuse, that can be overt, covert, like more emotional abuse,
Hmm.
neglect, things that we may not think of as abusive. It can be a I always think of like a misuse of power in a relationship. And anything else you can think of adding to that, Charla?
Yeah, I think just in the most basic layperson's terms, it would be the struggle to be connected to other people without abandoning yourself, hurting yourself, or stepping outside of your own values and goals. So you consistently, with every person that you interact with, it feels like you have to move yourself to accommodate them or to get what you want or need from them. And it starts on the inside, like Gabor Mate said, trauma is not what happens to you, it's what happens inside of you. And so we start that from infancy when our nurturing is not stable and consistent. And that becomes a pattern. And that pattern gets repeated with each partner because we tend to pick partners or align with people who make it easier to keep that pattern rather than developing new ways of connecting.
Absolutely. That's why we reenact our attachment wounds in our relationships, particularly the more intimate ones.
Hmm.
So thanks for adding that. And that's a good segue into why we would be bringing the divine feminine into healing relational trauma because as I've mentioned before that we live in a power over type of relationship dynamic in our world where there's a hierarchy, not everywhere of course, but when I see clients showing up with relationship dissatisfaction, and when I've sought help for relationship issues, there's typically something going on where you're talking about either I'm abandoning myself, so I'm sort of repeating the trauma within
Hmm.
myself by acting that pattern out with someone else. Or it could be that. That's giving my power away. And when I see it in my clients, there is usually this power imbalance, as opposed to what we're looking to be teaching and assisting with, which is creating more collaborative, empowering relationships where we all get to show up fully as ourselves and
Hmm.
still get to be connected. Wouldn't that
Yes,
be great?
I know. Sounds like a dream come true. And you were just talking, and it made me remember that one of the relationships that starts this healing process, or maybe the most important relationship, is the one with our therapist, which is why we want to help other therapists figure out how to show up in therapy for their clients, um, with not a power over, right? With a more open, receptive, and nurturing, we don't have to mother them, but a more nurturing spirit to guide our clients towards this wholeness that we can see is possible. And so, in bringing into the therapy room to heal the attachment wounds, the divine feminine, as a way of empowering our clients so that they can have better connections with themselves and with others.
Yes, and I know when I started doing this work more officially, let's say outwardly in the world about 5 years ago or so, and bringing it into the therapy practice more so, work with my clients, I was aware of how um, I maybe thought I was being collaborative, but there were probably times when I was maybe stepping in more where I could have been more hands off and more empowering with my client. I'm trying to think of an example right now, but I can't.
Yeah,
But
giving
yeah,
them more agency, right? And getting
yes,
away from the power dynamics of early psychotherapy, which I will note was created by men who needed the divine feminine.
yes, yes. Well, I appreciate you showing me up with me today and talking about this, and we'll be sharing more as we discover and plan for the training. But is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think that's good. That's good.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you next time.
All right, Jenna, thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.